let me share the link to join me. No, this is not the, let's see. Hey there, thanks for joining me on another live video. I hope you enjoyed this live streaming, and if you are watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you enjoyed the information I'm going to teach you today. It's going to be a basic subject, but a subject that confuses many English learners, okay? So I'm going to wait a few seconds before I get started. I'm trying to share this link on my social media, but it's not going. I see some people are joining. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. As usual, I'm going to be giving you some lessons, okay, some guidance. And then after that, I will be opening for questions, okay? So make sure to stay until the end because I will be answering your questions and helping you with any questions you may have. Yeah, I won't be able to share this today. So I'm just saying on Facebook that I am live on YouTube, and then we'll be able to get started. Very well. I see more people are joining. That's awesome. Keep joining, guys. This is really cool. I'm just announcing on Facebook, and then I'm getting started. Awesome. Share this video, okay? If possible, try sharing it so that you can bring more people to the class. Now, today we are going to talk about verb to be, and I don't have a beautiful presentation to share because I thought it would be more valuable to just start typing and writing common mistakes and things that usually confuse students, because verb to be is a basic lesson. For my beginners, for my private students, I usually teach that on the first day of the class, and we don't spend much time on verb to be, okay? But as the students start to learn more things in English, the confusion comes, and we give too much attention to verb to be. We treat it too too special, you know, and it's not, all right? It's not a special verb, it's just another verb. But because it is one of the first verbs the students learn, I understand where the confusion comes from. Okay, so today these are some things that we are going to cover. We're going to cover the different uses of verb to be. We're going to cover pronunciation. We're going to cover conjugation. We are also going to cover contractions, negative sentences, the confusion between negative sentences and affirmative sentences and other verbs, and in what situations we can use verb to be with another verb. Okay, so let me write here. So the first thing is, oh, it's too small. Delete this. So here, the first thing. So the first thing we need to think about is conjugation. Okay, when I'm talking about verb to be, we don't say to be. I to be, I be, she's be, she be, he be. No, I'm not talking about that. Verb to be is one of the few verbs in English that has 3 different conjugations. So when I say verb to be, I'm talking about these guys. Am, is, are. And if we pay attention to the pronunciation here, it is important to make a correct pronunciation. So here we have am. So if you're watching, you can repeat the pronunciation after me. Am. All right. Then we have is. Okay. It's almost like a Z sound. Is. Okay. Then are. This R is very strong. R is the same sound you make in car. R. Car. Okay, so the pronunciation is very important if you want to have a clear pronunciation, if you want people to understand you in conversations, my friends, this is the first thing you need to know about verb to be. Now, one thing that I notice when I am teaching verb to be to my students is, what is verb to be? And then they tell me this. The first thing that the students tell me when they're learning verb to be is, I am, teacher, you are, he is, she is. That's not verb to be, okay? Verb to be is only the verb. Am. And then we have are, is, and is. And there are other conjugations like are, they are, we are. So stop connecting the pronoun and verb to be every time you're thinking of verb to be. So this is the number one mistake, to confuse the pronoun plus I am and think that this is verb to be. This is not verb to be. Here you are making the beginning of a sentence in English. I am. Now, you can't stop there. You have to finish this phrase. So the verb alone is am. Now, are alone is the verb. You should say you are or they are. You are or they are or we are. But the verb itself, just are. Then we have the three guys here. He, she, it. And these three, if you're going to talk about he, if you're going to talk about she, if you're going to talk about it, then you're going to use the conjugation is. And all of this we are considering simple present. This is the conjugation we use in the present form. Am, is, are. So here we're just talking about the present. We are going to talk about the past too. So when we are talking about verb to be, it's only these three guys, am, is, are. However, in English, we don't use verbs alone. We need a doer. We need a person. We need a subject. Okay, so that's why you learn the pronouns, because you need a person, a subject, an object, and then object, and then verb to be. So you need these guys before you start before you use your verb to be. Okay, so that's why you learn the pronouns. So for example, I am, and then I have to finish. Let me know here with an example with this phrase, I am, and finish the phrase for me. What are you? Okay, who are you? So I want you to finish this phrase for me with your examples, okay? So this is the beginning of a phrase. I need I here. Only am is just a verb alone. So you need the pronoun I. Now you have verb to be am, but now you need to finish. You need to finish with something that will complete the idea of your phrase, okay? The same thing here. I want you to complete another phrase. Teacher Pricks is... So here we have another example. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about Teacher Pricks, myself, okay? So here, if I am talking about another person, okay, Teacher Pricks is... she in this case, okay? So that's the purpose here. If you pay attention, is not alone. Is next to Teacher Pricks. And I could use other examples. The window is. I need an object. The student, no, the plane is. The dogs are. And usually, guys, in this kind of construction, I'm not going to use another verb. I will talk about the moment when it's possible to use another verb, but here, when we're usually describing people, when we are giving descriptions of a person, we don't usually use another verb. So here, for example, teacher Prix is nice. You could use adjectives, okay? The window is blue. The window is small. So I can use words to describe my person, my subject. The plane is big. The plane is expensive. So I'm using a lot of adjectives, okay? You can use other verbs, but then you are changing a little bit of the sentence, okay? So I see some people are using, I want to see your examples, okay? And remember, use the phrases I am and something that you are. Coutinho says Teacher Prix is an excellent professional. Oh, that's awesome. Correct. And I like the example. The window is, the plane is. What are your examples? Type your examples here because then I can give you some feedback and correct you if necessary, okay? You can also create other examples as long as it's with verb to be and is, are, all right? Now, a common confusion here that students have is with singular versus plural, okay? We have a difference when we are talking about singular and we have a difference when we're talking about plural. Now, let me change the color. If I am talking about myself, me, I, okay? I will always use the conjugation am. I can't change that, okay? Now, if I'm talking about you, I'll use are. The problem is when I am talking about he, she, it. Oops. When I'm talking about he, she, it, these are words that represent people in the singular. Okay, so he represents a man or a boy in the singular, only one. She represents a girl or a woman in the singular, only one girl, but not you, not me if you're a girl, of course. Another person, you're talking about another person. If I need to talk about more people, different people, 2, 3, 10, man, 100, then I will use they. And here, I will say are. They are. Okay? Awesome. Now, here I have 2 examples to help you understand the meaning of verb to be, because we have 2 possible translations, 2 possible uses of verb to be. I don't like to teach translation. I like to teach explanations, okay? I'm always focusing on explanation, not just translation. So pay attention here. I am from Brazil. This is my country. That's where I was born, Brazil. I am from Brazil. That's my origin, okay? That's where I come from. This cannot change, okay? This is something that I am from. I will not change this. Something that I will not change either. I am tall. I can't change this. I'm not tall today and tomorrow I'm not tall. I am tall. I think I will be tall for the rest of my life, okay? When we get older, we get smaller, but I'm still tall. So I cannot change this. I am tall. I am Brazilian. I cannot change the fact that I am Brazilian. I will not change that. So this is one possible translation of verb to be. The second option is I am tired. Now, tired is a feeling, okay? Maybe I worked a lot today and now I am feeling tired. Tired is something that can change. Today I'm tired, but tomorrow I can sleep and feel better. So here, the situation is likely to change. It's possible to change the situation. So this is the second use of verb to be. Okay? One is to describe something that doesn't change. You are that. I am Brazilian. You are Canadian. You are Mexican. The second use of verb to be is to describe a moment that of something that you are right now, a state. Okay, so now I'm tired. Tomorrow, maybe not. Maybe yesterday, I wasn't. So it's a temporary state. Okay, so if I could choose one word here, it's a temporary state. While the first explanation is not a temporary state, it's a definite state. I am tall. I am Brazilian. You are a student. Well, maybe one day you change, but right now you are a student. Okay, I see some people are using other examples. My name is long, but I am short. That's a funny one. I'm from Turkey. That's awesome. Prix is an English teacher. Teacher Prix online now. That's great. I want to see more examples with verb to be, okay? That's the homework. If you're joining now, please send your examples with verb to be, okay? That would be awesome. Let me see if I can share this now. No, I'm trying to share, but it's giving me the last week file, and I changed the image and stuff, so I cannot share. So if you are enjoying, please share, okay? It would be really helpful to the channel, and more people can join and participate, so this would be awesome. Now, I gave you the meanings of verb to be. Do you understand the difference between a temporary state and something that you cannot change? I hope so, okay? If you have questions, post them here. I saw some questions. I will answer them at the end, okay? But in the meantime, let's move on. Then we have verb to be. Teacher, I want to use to be. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible, but not I be, okay? I to be, you to be, you be, he be, that be. No, not like that, okay? If you want to use to be, you have a moment to do that. That's why basic learners don't learn it, because it's confusing. They are learning 3 conjugations, and then am I going to teach them that it's possible to use to be? No, that's too much work. So we don't usually teach students that it's possible to use to be, because that will require more construction of sentences, okay? You will need to work a little bit more, all right? So, for example, I want to be famous. I want to be famous. So here, I said that I want. So I have another verb here, okay? I want. If you don't know what want is, it means to desire, okay? You want, you desire, all right? So that's the meaning of want. One possible translation for want. I want, I desire, I wish. I want to be famous. And if you pay attention here, I am using to be. And why is that? Because I am using to be as a complement. I am completing my phrase because the most important verb is want. That's the number one, that's the big guy, that's the boss in this phrase. So because of that, if I need another verb, I can use. And in this case, if it's in the middle of a sentence, completing the idea of another verb, then it's fine, it's cool. Actually, you have no choice. You have to use to be in this case, okay? So for this purpose, and there are more other uses, but this is absolutely one that you should learn. If you are using to be as a complement, then definitely you have to use to be. You cannot put am, is, or are in the middle of a phrase like that, okay? Let's see another example in the past. Not verb to be in the past, but in the middle. He tried to be polite. Here, he tried, okay, he tried to be polite. So maybe let's imagine a situation because I like situations. Let's imagine that John, okay, let's give him a name, John. John was in a party, okay, he was at a party and he met a friend, he met a colleague from work that he doesn't like. He really doesn't like that colleague. So that colleague started to talk to him, but John doesn't like that guy. But he tried to be polite, okay? What is to be polite? To have good manners, okay? Good manners, polite, when you have good manners. Good morning, please excuse me. Oh, hello, you look lovely. Good manners, being polite. So here I have another example where I am using to be. And if you paid attention, to be is completing my phrase, he tried. He tried. He tried what? He tried to be polite. So in this circumstance, in this situation, if you need to use verb to be, it's okay. And this is the moment when many English learners get lost because they are always learning that to be is am, is, are. And then when they see to be in the middle of a phrase, they're like, but hey, I thought we couldn't use verb to be like that. You can, but this is a different construction, okay? To be is just helping me finish the phrase, all right? Let's see, I would like to be fluent in English. Awesome, keep watching my videos and you will be. Someone says you are to home. Here you don't need to say to, okay? You are home. I say you are home. I don't know how to read your name, so awesome. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's see. The next thing I want to tell you, because there are more things about verb to be that I want to tell you. Go back to blue because I like blue. I'm typing, so give me a moment. Okay, so when we are in conversations and we are using verb to be, we don't always say I am, you are, he is, she is, it is. No, actually we don't, which is another challenge for English learners when they are listening to native speakers or non-native speakers or watching movies or listening to music because they pronounce so quickly. First, don't worry, this is natural, okay? At some point, you will start to feel more comfortable with the pronunciation of verb to be. Excuse me. Now, when you are using verb to be, as I said here, when you are, so I didn't abbreviate, I didn't contract, it's possible to contract this sound and the spelling. So there are two options here. You can abbreviate, you can contract how you write and how you speak. Okay, both are very common and you should learn how to do that well. So now I'm just going to repeat all the words here and then pay attention. Repeat after me. If you're watching this is a class. So let's do it together, okay? So I'm. You can say I am or you can say I'm. Repeat, I'm. Next, you're. You're welcome. Haha. You are or your. Then we have his becomes his. She is becomes she's. It is becomes its. Okay? We are. We can say we are or you can say we're. All right? You are again. Remember that it's because I can use you in the singular if I am only looking at one person and talking, hey, are you okay? Or if I'm looking at two people, let me imagine here we have 35 people watching and I'm looking at all these people watching and I want to ask you a question. So if there are more people, you are. It's also possible to use the same thing as long as I understand from the context that it's more than one. Okay? And then we have there, they are, all right? They are is the plural of he is, she is, it is. And the pronunciation, if you contract it, is there. Okay, so repeat this. This is very helpful to, this is going to help you with pronunciation. So I definitely recommend pause this and repeat these words so that you can improve that too and master that once and for all. And once and for all. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, now that you learned this, we have another common problem. Okay, let's see. Let me write here. Here we have a problem. All these phrases are wrong, okay? Wrong phrases. The problem students start to have is when they learn other verbs. For example, study. Study is a verb, it's an action, okay? I study, you study, we all study. And if you're here, it's because you study English, and this is awesome, okay? Now, what happens when students learn this? Because they learned incorrectly, not that they learned incorrectly, but they made the wrong association. This is the danger of writing I am when you're learning verb to be. I am, you are. This is the danger of making this association. Because when you learn a new verb in English, what are you going to do? You are going to continue making this association. I'm studying because that's what I learned when I was a beginner. And this is the danger of studying I am as one thing, okay? Because they're not. So here it's very important to focus on what is a verb and what is not a verb. And the problems, they start to show up here. And usually when English learners are learning this and studying, if they don't get enough correction and explanation, it's not just about correction, but about explanation, repeating the explanation. No. This is not a verb. This is a verb. Okay, now we are learning another verb. Okay, that's what I do with my basic learners. They make this mistake too, but I keep insisting until they stop using the verb to be and the pronoun as one thing. So this happens a lot. So many English learners will say, I'm studying English, when they should say, I study English. This is the correct way to do it. Because here, some students, they ask, but teacher, how do I know when I use one verb and when I use verb to be? Well, I have a simple solution for you. If you want to know what verb you have to use, you need to know what phrase you want to speak. If you want to talk about study, you have to use study. If you want to talk about places you visit, then you have to use visit or go. Or if you want to talk about car and how you drive, then you use drive. And this is it's so simple, and yet it can be a little complicated for English learners. Because if we go back to the beginning of the lesson, verb to be is very limited. I am Brazilian. It has a completely different translation to I study English. These are different pieces of information. So if you want to know which verb you should use, you have to think of what idea you want to give. If I want to say I'm a student, okay, I am a student. That's true. But if I want to say I study English, that's different from I am a student. Okay? So this, I know it may sound silly. Oh, I just have to think. Yes, it is that. I focus on that and I make my English learners always question, okay, what verb do I need? Okay, I need this. Because then you will start to analyze the phrases that you are creating, the words that you're going to use. Because what happens here? The students, they have this verb to be thing in the automatic. Oh, I just need to use verb to be. And then the teacher can understand, the listener can understand. And no, here you have to analyze a little bit what you are trying to say, the message you're trying to say, and thinking of the verb you want to use. And if you don't want to use the word verb, it's okay. Thinking of the action you want to use will help you create your phrase. However, if you have this wrong association of verb to be I am, you are, he is, then you're always going to have this problem because you think that it's all one thing and it's not, okay? Then we have there, you go to school, you go to school, all right? He is learning English, he learns English. If you paid attention here, the verb changed a little bit. I have a playlist just talking about simple present, he, she, it, here on my channel. So make sure to watch my playlist so that you can understand why the verb learn here is he learns, okay? I have, I think, many classes actually, many videos in different formats talking about verb to be, talking about simple present. So here I'm just going to correct, but if you want to have more explanations, check that out. She works here, not she's work here. She works here, another example down there. So these are small corrections that you need to start making. And I know this is for some English learners, this is a persistent mistake, okay? So how do we correct persistent mistakes? By practicing, by correcting the persistent mistakes. For example, what I am doing here with you since the beginning of the class is I am making you give me examples so that I can correct. That way, I can help you correct your persistent mistake. That's why participating in the comments here in the chat is so important because I check your examples and I can tell you how to improve. So to correct persistent mistakes, you have to practice. You have to find situations when you can use that structure, you can use that word or that expression or that vocabulary so that you can start improving. There's no other way. If you don't have a lot of speaking practice, it's fine. You need to have a lot of writing. I'm not talking about doing grammar exercise. That's not the goal, okay? I'm talking about writing down. So when my students are making too many mistakes with verb to be, I ask them to write me examples. Okay, so I tell them, okay, think about your life and give me examples of your friends, your family, the things around your house, the places in your office, things that you remember. I want examples. So that's how I help my students correct persistent mistakes. And they do all of that work by writing. By the time they get to talk to me, they have already started to correct those persistent mistakes because they had the right guidance of how to correct that persistent mistake. Okay, Mahito, she works here, she's working here. Both are correct, but I will talk about that very soon. Okay, nice. Let me see what else I have on my list here. Okay. This is getting very long. All right, then we move on and we talk about negative sentences with verb to be. Basically, to make a negative phrase with verb to be, you need the word not. Simple like that. So what are you going to do? I am plus not. You are plus not. Well, let's take the pronoun out of the game so that I don't help you with wrong associations. Is plus not. So this is basically the format of a negative phrase in English with verb to be. Now, if you paid attention here, I'm not using the pronoun. I'm not using anything. I'm not using any subject, any object with the verb to be. I'm just showing you the negative form. Now, I can't use this alone. Alone, it has no purpose. I need something. I need an object. I need a place. I need something. So that's when you can use the pronouns. I am not a doctor. I would like to be a doctor, but I'm not. I'm not a doctor. Ricardo is saying verb to be is not difficult. Now that's interesting. Let's use his example. He says that verb to be is not difficult, and I agree. Now, what's different here? Verb to be. Here, I'm not using it, I'm not using you, I'm not using they, I'm not using we, but I'm using verb to be. Verb to be represents my person in the phrase. That's the subject that is in my phrase. That's why I'm not using it. Okay, so here I have a person, a subject, but it's not the pronoun. The pronoun is an option. You don't need to use the pronoun all the time. You can use other words. The doctor is not happy. Doctor's not happy. Okay, so here I use the doctor. I could use he, I could use she, but I just said the doctor. So this happens a lot in English, okay? The pronouns is just to help you because we need the pronouns. For example, if you're talking about yourself, I am great, feeling good. I'm not going to say teacher Brick's great, I'm going to say I am okay, I am great. So the pronoun has a purpose, a place and time, okay? Awesome. Gaurav says he's a big fan of me. So just remember, I am, just the letter M is not verb to be, okay? You need I am, if I understood you correctly. Awesome. Then we're making the negative phrase here, okay? Is not, are not, am not. So I am not Australian. I'm not. I am not hungry. Okay, remember the use of verb to be is very limited. Okay, so this is something that you also need to focus. The use of verb to be is limited because of the translation. Just like the use of verb study is limited. If you don't need to use the word study, you don't use it because it has a limited translation. Okay, it means one thing. Okay, like drink. If I don't need to describe this action, I don't need to use the verb drink. So this is what you need to pay attention. Verb to be is limited to its translation. That's what you need to focus on, okay? And just as I said, when students, they say, I'm a go, she is study, we also tend, English learners also tend to do that in the negative sentence. She is not like to work. He is not to go to school. They are not like to study. These are phrases that I hear English learners speak. These are phrases that I read in the comments. I may not have time to answer all your comments, but I always read the comments, and these guys are everywhere, okay? And this is something that you can correct. You just need to practice a little more, all right? Because right now, what is happening, and if you watched my previous master classes, you are receiving information, okay? So you are you're having an input moment. It's time to have an output moment. And how do you do that if you're studying alone? You practice, okay? You write. So this is something that I always have my students do, because if you don't have an output moment, you're not practicing, which means you're just learning the theory, but you're not learning the practice, okay? So what I recommend if you're studying alone, if you don't have someone, a partner to correct you or to help you, I recommend you write the correct examples, correct sentences, and then based on those sentences, you can create your examples and follow this, the structure of the correct phrases. That's going to help you practice the information that you're watching here today, okay? Awesome. Now, verb to be, let's see if I have another thing before I move on. Okay, before I move on to the last part, which is the use of verb to be with other verbs, we have to talk about the past. Yes, past of verb to be. Verb to be is a very independent verb. And this verb has a different conjugation in the past. Until now, I showed you the conjugation in the present. I am, person, I, plus the conjugation am. Pronoun you plus the conjugation are. Pronoun he, she, it, conjugation is. Now, if you're using this verb in the past, you have two possible conjugations. You have was, or you have were. And why do you have two conjugations? Because of the pronouns. You have singular, I was. Then you have you were. He, she, it was. We were. They were. And you were if you need to say you in the plural. So that's basically what you have in the past. Remember, I'm using I because it's a pronoun. Okay? The verb is only was and were. That's the conjugation of verb to be in the past. And the same problems you have in the past, you have in the past. Using it with another verb, using it incorrectly, pronunciation, was, were. Okay, it's very important. Here in the affirmative sentence, there's no contraction. I was, you were, she was, you were, they were, we were. No abbreviation. We cannot abbreviate, okay? In the negative form, we can. You can say wasn't or weren't, and you can write wasn't or weren't. So I wasn't hungry this morning. Okay, so it is possible to say I wasn't hungry this morning. I can say I wasn't hungry, or I can say I was not hungry this morning. Okay, we were not tired last night, or we weren't tired last night. Ricardo says my job was not good today. Hannah says, I woke up early. So this is a problem here, Hannah. You are doing exactly what you cannot do. So, or you use verb to be, or you use wake up. I believe that your idea is wake up. So you only use wake up. I woke up early today. I woke up early. So because you need wake up. Okay, because wake up is the action of opening your eyes in the morning. Verb to be is not. Verb to be has a different translation. So this is the analysis that you need to make. I woke up, or I wake up at 6 every day. I don't need verb to be to explain that, because verb to be doesn't have the translation of wake up. Okay? Daniela says this lesson is useful. Awesome. This lesson, the situation, the thing, the person, the subject is. Then you finish the phrase. Okay? Awesome. Very nice. So as I said here, be careful when you're making negative phrases. Just like that. I was not, then let's see here. I was not go to school yesterday. It's the same kind of problem that English learners have when they're talking in the present. It just repeats itself when you're talking about the past. Here, we're talking about something that you did not do. You didn't go. So go is the movement of action of going to one place from another. So you don't need was not here. You need didn't or did not. I did not go to school. You cannot use verb to be here because verb to be doesn't give me the idea of movement, of going to one place. You need the verb go. Let's see. Another same kind of problem. I was not to watch a movie last night. So you have to say, I did not. Or didn't, if you abbreviate, if you contract. So I did not watch a movie last night. So this is the difference between these guys. You only use verb to be if your idea is with verb to be. Okay? If your idea is with a different verb, like watch, then it's possible. Okay? Then you can say. Awesome. Now, I see that some people are sending me examples with two verbs together, and as I said, it is possible, okay? Verb to be plus other verbs. But here, when you do this, you are changing the conjugation, okay? This is like teacher language. You are changing the idea of the phrase. So it's important. Just like Ricardo said here, I was not playing soccer yesterday. You're giving me a different idea. You need to analyze if that's important for you to explain or not, okay? Because if it's not necessary, then you just need to use simple past, plain vanilla, okay? Simple past only. Now, in what situations can you use? I'm going to focus on one here because I have to go and I still want to answer some of your questions. So you are going to focus on continuous, the gerund, ing. So here I could say am plus another verb ing. For example, I am teaching you verb to be. So at this moment, I am here in my house. I am teaching you verb to be. In this situation, I am connecting two verbs, am and teaching. I need to put this ing in the verb teach. The problem is that many English learners will say, I am teach now. No, you can say, I am teaching now. Well, if you are a teacher, because if you're not a teacher, you're not teaching, you are learning now. Then it would be fine. You, for example, right now, you are listening to me. You are watching me, then it would be okay too. So this is the moment when I can use two verbs together, verb to be and another verb, but I need to put ing. However, the idea changes. These, for example, if I'm using this in the present, I am focusing on the activity now, on what I am doing now, on the progress of the activity now. It's important for me to say that. If I say, I watch Teacher Prick's videos, and I am watching Teacher Prick's videos, I will give you two different ideas. If I say I'm watching Teacher Prick's videos with the ing, I will probably understand that it's now, at this moment, that you're speaking. If you say that you watch Teacher Prick's videos, I will understand that it's just a routine activity, something you do, you usually do when you have time, when I post a video, when I make a video, when I make a live video. It doesn't mean now, it means you watch, okay? If you say I'm watching, it means now, probably now. So that's the difference. The same thing in the past. I was watching a movie last night. I watched a movie last night. Now, these two phrases, they also have different meanings, okay? When I say I was watching a movie last night, I am focusing on the progress. I'm not necessarily focusing on the conclusion. Maybe something happened and you had to stop. Hi, teacher, I was watching a movie last night when the internet stopped working. I couldn't finish my movie. So there was an interruption. You were having a progress, it was happening, but then bang, something happened and it stopped you from watching, okay? Now, I watched a movie last night. That indicates a finished action. You're not focusing on the progress. You're just focusing on the conclusion. Okay? All right? That's the difference. So it's important for me to know. So when you said here, Ricardo, I was not playing soccer yesterday. If I were having a conversation with you, I would probably ask for more information because why are you describing this to me? Why is it important to describe the progress? I would need more. That's why, okay? So it would be better to say, I didn't play soccer with my friends last night. Because then it'll be much clearer to me if you explain it that way. Because if you say, I wasn't playing soccer with my friends, I will feel that you need to finish. You need to finish the explanation. You need to finish the story. Okay? And because probably something happened and you couldn't do it. So this is the difference if I use I was watching and I watched a movie last night. You will need to give a little bit more context, and usually if I'm using I was watching, I'm focusing on the progress of the activity, not necessarily on the conclusion of the activity. And when we're doing that in English, we need to be careful. Okay? Awesome. And okay, now I will give you some minutes, about 10 minutes to ask questions. So it's the time now, my friends. Salim, you are telling nicely. Here, I like that you use you are telling, but I think that you are what you're trying to say, you are speaking nicely, would be better than telling. When I tell something to someone or I tell someone something. I would need to finish the phrase. But nice done. The structure was nicely done. Okay, now your example just got interesting. You were now playing soccer because you were swimming all night. Like, Jesus, what are you? Like a fish? But it made okay. Now it's a little clear. Let's imagine, for example, imagine you. I don't know who you are, Ricardo, but maybe you have a wife, okay, or a girlfriend, and then you get home and she thinks you were playing soccer with your friends, and then you say, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I wasn't playing soccer with my friends because I had to work, so that's why. And she's asking you questions like, why are you late? Where were you? What were you doing? Weren't you playing soccer? And then you're like, no, I was not playing soccer, I was working. Haha, that's what I was doing, and that's why I'm late. So here I'm just giving you a context, a silly context, because it's important. It's gonna help you understand. And I think that this example made it very clear to people. Hannah, what's the difference? She is learn and she learns. She is learn is wrong, okay, and she learns is correct. I cannot say she is learn. I say she learns. That's the correct phrase you need to make, okay? When I want to speak, I just use the present tense. I don't know why I don't focus on grammar. Well, my friend, to focus on grammar, you need a context. Now that you recognize that you know a lot of present, it's time to find inspiration to help you with the past. You can start with some basic lessons, but I recommend finding some subjects, some articles to read, some stories, some audios, short audios in the past to help your brain find examples. Okay, that when I talk about context, that's what I am trying to show, that your brain needs ideas. Your brain needs inspiration to copy, okay? That's why I give contexts, because that way it'll be easier for you to understand that grammar point or that explanation. So I would go with that, okay? Any other questions? Nobody has questions. That's so awesome. Excellent, guys. So no questions? One more question and then I'll leave. I gotta do stuff. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you have received, if you are in my email list. Are you in my email list? I hope so. Well, starting on February 4th, I will be giving a week challenge, okay? It's going to be a study week challenge. I'm waiting for another question. If I don't have more questions, then I'm gonna go. But just giving you some information, starting next week, I'm gonna be giving you a 1 week challenge, okay? There will be lessons, videos, audios of native speakers, vocabulary, reading, my method. I will be teaching you my method, how I teach English. I will be giving you these classes. They are online. You will receive every day for the next 7 days, starting on February 4th. You will be receiving these lessons, these materials, this guidance in accordance to my methodology. And to participate, all you gotta do is register. The registration is free. And then on February 4th, you will start to receive not only the lessons, but the challenge, okay? Because there will be challenges. So make sure to participate, invite your friends, share this link here that I shared here on the chat with your friends on your social media. That's really gonna help me during this week of challenges, okay? Excellent, guys. So I don't see any more questions. I hope this lesson was helpful to you. Other than that, I will see you next class, and February 4th is next Monday, so make sure to register this week, okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.